Today's episode is about influence that breaks the rules, influence that uses humour where seriousness is expected, vulnerability where authority is assumed, and honesty where performance is often rewarded. This is the story of Ruby Wax. Her journey shows us how humour becomes credibility, how vulnerability becomes leadership, and how influence deepens when we stop pretending we're fine. Ruby Wax began her career in comedy and television at a time when the industry rewarded sharpness, dominance, and emotional armour. She quickly became known for her rapid wit, confrontational interviewing style, and ability to hold her own in male-dominated media spaces. What's important to understand is that Wax was never just funny. She was intellectually formidable, observant, unafraid. Her humour worked because it was grounded in intelligence and psychological insight. She understood people, their defences, their contradictions, their discomfort. This made her powerful in media environments built on performance and control. At the height of her television success, Ruby Wax appeared confident, fearless, and in command. But beneath the surface, she was struggling with severe depression. This tension matters. Like many high-performing leaders and creatives, Wax was rewarded for output while quietly carrying the cost of constant performance. The industry valued resilience, not honesty. Strength, not openness. Eventually, the pressure became unsustainable. This moment marks a turning point in her influence. Not because she failed, but because she stopped pretending. Rather than hiding her experience, Ruby Wax chose to understand it. She studied psychotherapy and neuroscience, completing a master's degree at Oxford. This decision is critical to her influence story. Wax did not reposition herself as a victim or a motivational speaker. She became a translator, bridging complex science with lived experience, humour, and accessibility. This gave her authority. She could speak about mental health not just emotionally, but intellectually. Her credibility came from both study and survival. Influence grew because her honesty was backed by understanding. Ruby Wax used her platform to normalise conversations about mental health long before it was culturally safe to do so. Through books, talks, campaigns, and public advocacy, she challenged stigma, particularly around depression, anxiety, and emotional overwhelm. Importantly, she did this without sanitising the reality. Humour became the delivery mechanism, not to trivialise pain, but to make it speakable. This is strategic influence. By lowering emotional barriers, Wax reached audiences that traditional clinical or corporate language never could. Ruby Wax's influence sits in direct contrast to traditional leadership models. She does not present herself as polished, invulnerable, or fixed. She models ongoing management rather than permanent recovery, honesty rather than heroism. This matters deeply in modern leadership. In workplaces increasingly aware of burnout, mental health strain, and emotional labour, Wax's message reframes vulnerability not as weakness, but as competence. Knowing your mind is leadership skill. Ruby Wax's journey offers powerful lessons in modern influence. First, humour can carry serious truth. Second, vulnerability builds trust faster than authority. Third, lived experience becomes influence when paired with understanding. Fourth, performance has limits. Honesty sustains. Finally, leadership does not require perfection. It requires awareness. Ruby Wax shows us that influence doesn't have to dominate. Sometimes it connects. Ruby Wax didn't lose credibility when she spoke about mental health. She gained depth. Her influence reminds us that strength isn't the absence of struggle. It's the willingness to understand it, talk about it, and manage it openly. I'm Hannah Hally, and this was Icons of Influence. Until next time, remember that influence built on honesty travels further than influence built on performance, and that sometimes the bravest leadership act is saying this is hard.